Hello, my name is Mooney. You know me as Moonlit Star, which has been my username since I was like 8, I think. Which I should definitely not have been on the internet at the age of 8, but that time has passed. I usually just make English covers of songs with Teto, just because I can't sing very well. Like, I have fun at karaoke, but I'm not like a singer by any means. So that's why I use vocal synths. But I just realized I've never done like an introduction or anything. So hi, as you can see, I'm a VTuber part-time. I don't really stream that much anymore, but I do, I rig VTuber models. So I've, you know, I'll put a little compilation on the screen. You see it? I'm assuming I put them up. I don't have like a formal way that I make my English covers, but I just thought I'd do like a fun little thing. I don't know. Anyway, I'll move over here and I can put some stuff on the screen. Here's some stuff about me. Hopefully I did a freeze frame and not I'm just like awkwardly sitting here. Let me just switch into my comfy clothes. There we go. Also, before I get into things, I'm gonna put like a timestamp on the screen if you want to skip past this, but just like a little FAQ. Can I use your lyrics in my own covers? Yes, absolutely. Just make sure to credit me somewhere. Credit the original artists, the original artists. I mean, for all of my covers that I make, it's literally just me. That I just do. I do the lyrics, the tuning, mixing, editing. I used to do video edits, which some people are probably coming back to this channel and they're wondering why they subscribe to this person when they don't even remember me. But I used to make edits. So if you're wondering why am I suddenly subscribed to this person, my channel name hasn't changed, but my content has changed a few times. But yes, you can definitely use my lyrics in your covers. I'd be super honored. I don't know. I do these for fun. So whenever I see people that like my work, I guess, you know, it makes me happy. It's nice. It's yippee. If you do make a cover and you're earning like commission off of it, like you're putting it up on music streaming platforms and everything, you can totally do that. I just prefer if you reach out to me first, just like a heads up, basically. But yes, commercial usage is fine. So just email me, basically. Can you write lyrics for me, or can I commission you to write lyrics for me? I don't typically do commissions on stuff. My writing process is very janky, and it works for me because I've lived with myself. You know, whenever I'm writing lyrics, I want to do the original justice as much as I can. So I feel bad if somebody paid me money to do something like that and I couldn't deliver. I'm always happy to collab with other people in the vocal synth community. Genuinely, the only reason that's like stopping me personally from reaching out to people is that I have very bad social anxiety. I'm also like a hardcore introvert, so so a lot of like communication scares me, you know, and you know, I'm working on therapy, but if you want to like collab or do anything, like basically I just need other people to reach out to me first, because I can't I can't do it because my brain does not let me. Why don't you sing your own English covers? Because I can't sing very well. I feel like I'm the very definition of like a mid singer. Like, I'm not tone deaf, but I'm also not good. So just like slightly below average, I guess. I know technically I could use auto-tune or something like that, but I'd rather leave it to actual singers or just use a voice bank. What do you use to make your covers? I use these programs. I'll probably forget which ones. I'm just kind of leaving space here for editor me to put them. But typically I do all my video editing and audio mixing in Sony Vegas, which I know there are definitely much better ways to both edit and to mix tracks and everything. I know some of my songs, I don't mix them very well, and that is because I don't really know how. I'm slowly getting better. Tuning is something I'm not really super great at either, but I learn as the days go by. Why do you typically only use Teto? Basically, she just always kind of been my favorite. One of the first Vocaloid songs that I heard was Triple Baka, and I've always really liked the color pink, like the pinkish red. I don't know, she had fun hair. She was kind of like the underdog, I guess. I don't know. I think everybody loves a comeback story, you know? I think it was also that at the time when I first got into Vocaloid, I didn't really, and I'm using Vocaloid as like a very loose term. I mean, like any kind of vocal synth. I only really knew that Miku was a voice bank that existed. I didn't really understand that there were like other voice banks. So when I found out that like Teto was her own thing, I was like, I was pretty crazy about Gumi for a while. The only reason I don't have her voice bank right now is because I can't afford it. I just did like, I'm gonna be super real with you guys. I wanted to buy like a few voice banks and stuff, but I literally just did my taxes and they were so much. And that sound that you just heard was the soul leaving my body, because it's like not super great, but also just plainly I just like her voice bank. I think it's nice. I like it. How do you choose which songs you're going to cover? Basically I just find a song that I like and there's like written out lyrics for, and I just go from there. There's typically no rhyme or reason other than I just like it. Okay, now let's get into my step-by-step process. I'm not very coherent and messy step-by-step process of how I make covers. Step 1, find a song, one that I usually like, that's in Japanese. English is my native language. I can kind of speak Japanese. I'm not a very good speaker. Reading is usually what I'm better at, but I'm definitely not like, I'm not fluent in Japanese. Not that I can't be in other languages. I've covered songs that were originally like Korean before. Honestly, it's just finding a song that I like. Step 2, find song lyrics, ideally written out because Japanese has a lot of difficult kanji that change the meaning of words. I think the best way to describe it in English is like theirs. Is there, like THER, there, which is so that's their part, that's their, and the there is THEY, which is they are, so they're movies, like homophones, basically. The homophonic dog. Typically the lyrics are written out in the description of songs, or it's written out in a text file, or people have it on websites like Genius. Basically, I just look around to see where I can find them. Step 3 is understand the meaning of the song, or lack thereof. Themes, vibes, etc. Sometimes songs have deeper meaning. I mean, there's always that iconic thing, like, what do the blue curtains represent? You know, what is the author trying to say? And other times, there is no representation, just that the curtains are blue and that's how they wrote them, you know? Typically, this isn't really anything like, oh, I'm writing down like the exact themes of the song or what they represent. It's usually just kind of filling out the vibe, like, is it a happy song? Is it a sad song? You know, things like that. Step 4, check the comments in case someone else has dissected the symbolism or a Japanese reference that I don't understand, or like a Japanese pun. Every language has wordplay, just funny things like that. Every language has proverbs and things. It's also just every culture has different games that are kind of well known to everybody. Like I say, most English speakers could understand what I mean when I'm saying, oh, we're going to play tag. But like to other cultures, that might not be like, that might not mean anything at all. They don't know what we're talking about, you know? With this, I just try to look around, or I ask some of my friends who live in Japan or are natively Japanese, especially for like more popular songs. There's always someone in the comments that writes like a whole essay on how they think, and I don't know, I think that's cool. I like it. But it is also just helpful for me in case I misunderstand something. Step 5, get struck by inspiration, aka A, go through the Japanese lyrics, translating them line by line for a rough first pass, making sure to count the syllables to try and match up for later. B, inevitably go to Google Translate and DeepL because my knowledge of the Japanese language is extremely spotty, and then go to Japan Dictionary and or obscure forums, or just kind of look up thesaurus things. Basically, I'm just going to like just look at Japanese dictionaries. C, check Google to see if I misunderstood any lines. Basically just checking to see if I missed a reference to something. Basically just what I said earlier in case it's like a cultural difference that I just don't know about. D, write cohesive lyrics based off of the first draft with the help of rhymezone.com, which is not a joke. I genuinely use that website. It's very helpful. And my mastery of the English language, as you can see. Try to stick with the syllable scheme or having it work with a new one. It's usually the case is that in Japanese you can fit a lot more syllables into the same small space, but English usually has shorter syllables, like less syllables to work with, so I can typically, like, if the original song has 4 Japanese syllables, I can usually turn that into 2 English syllables, you know, things like that. E, sort of finished. You now have an avant-garde poem to make your English teacher proud, or whatever the feeling of, the student is pretty good at writing, but I really wish he'd write something different, like maybe something that's not super depressing. Like, should I call his parents? I'm a little worried. Which I've definitely, that's never been me, ever. I was a very normal child. Me when I lie. Step 6, remember I can't sing, so scour the web hoping someone has a UST out for it. Mothman, my absolute goat. I'm freaking, the devil works fast, Mothman works faster, I swear to God. Like, If yes, you're coming with me. Step 7, important to synthy, choose Teto, which is very important. I don't know, I said Teto like that. Teto. Step 8, go through the lyrics, replacing them with the new ones that I've written. Step 9, try to tune, realize I'm not super great at it, decide to go with auto-tuning, editing parts along the way. Basically, synthy can usually do like automatic tuning. It's basically just I typically use that as like a starting off point, but then I do edit it from there. Also, step 9, part B, basically just making sure to export the files so I can actually use them. Step 10, put that bad boy into Sony Vegas. Step 11, audio mixing begins. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just kind of try stuff and hope it works.
Peter, how are you doing that?
Lois, I'm scared. Step 12, re-listen to it over and over and over and over again until it's good enough. It will never be perfect. My own perfectionism means I will never get anything done, so I push through it by hoping for the best with cautious optimism. Render, upload the audio to Patreon to make sure it sounds okay. Step 13, video editing begins. I don't usually do anything fancy with adding English lyrics, both for readability's sake and that I inevitably get impatient because of the tedious process, and I really just want to put out the cover at that point, and I usually don't have the patience for Sony Vegas crashing every 10 minutes, and that's not even to mention if I want to get fancy with it and I try to open After Effects and that takes forever. Step 14, render, upload to YouTube privately to make sure I didn't actually leak my social security number or spell a word wrong. Both are equally as bad. Basically just making sure that the audio sounds okay. Sometimes YouTube does like a weird compression thing and then the audio does not sound the same as it did on Patreon. Step 15, finish up to release the cover, checking credits, writing description, etc. Basically it's just final product from there. My very easy process of how I do things. Things you may or may not need. A passion for writing. And a past of being a burnout gifted kid and or edgy poetry writer. I was definitely both of those things. Motivation, arguably the most important factor here, as it's hard to come by. This is typically why I only cover songs that I personally like, because I can't get into the hyperfixation zone, you know? A cat assistant, though any pet will do, like a sibling to annoy, or to annoy you. We all make do with what we have, you know? Higher video editing knowledge. I used to do video editing a lot, like I mentioned in the start of this video, and or the persistence to not get angry about another Sony Vegas crash. Every time Sony Vegas crashes, I lose my will to live even more. Vocal synth software. I use Synthv, but OpenUtau is genuinely like a stellar alternative for free. Works on Windows, Mac, and Linux, I think. Kasane Teto, she's always necessary. At least in my covers. Yeah, here are the other voice banks that I have, though. Anyway, I just want to make like a silly video on the side just to get to know me, I guess. Which some of you probably don't even care, and that's also fine, you know, whatever. Hopefully this helped, at least to get a better understanding of the way my twisted mind works. Also, I can do this. Okay, bye.